Welcome to this presentation on the business of design, agency or freelance. Hello, I am Kevin Ray. In this reflective presentation of the class MDD 340, the business of graphics, I will discuss two different design career paths, agency and freelance. In the class, we had the opportunity to complete a project from both perspectives. I will take a look at the profitability of both and how it is determined. I will also explain what was learned in the class, starting with my expectations from the beginning and then my key takeaways. When considering a design career, it's important to remember that it's not only about being creative, it's also about being profitable. Profit is equal to price minus the cost, by the way. This example shows profit and loss from an agency project. For this, we used per project pricing. First, we needed to estimate our total billable labor cost. Next, we needed to estimate any other expenses or overhead cost. And finally, we calculated our estimated profit of $172.13. Then we took a look at our actual profit. As you can see, the actual profit from this project is less than estimated. The biggest reason for this was the non-billable labor cost. A lack of experience with this type of project caused extra research and learning to be necessary. Luckily, we were able to create the project quicker than expected to offset part of this cost. Billable and non-billable hours, by the way, will be discussed in further detail in an upcoming slide. The biggest factors regarding profitability are estimating the price and controlling the cost. First of all, the price must be estimated from realistic estimated hours. Secondly, time is money. Controlling the amount of time spent on the project is critical. To help offset the research and learning time, we possibly could have reached out to someone more experienced with these types of projects. Even if we were charged a fee, we may have possibly saved time and money. This example shows profit and loss for my freelance project. For this, we used hourly pricing. First, we needed to estimate our labor cost. Again, we were told we would be charging $45 per hour, so we needed to estimate how long the project would take to get the total billable labor cost. And to get that figure, we multiplied the total estimated hours times 45 to get $855. Actually, the project took 1 hour less than expected, so actual billable labor cost was $810. And dividing the $810 by our total hours, which includes billable and non-billable hours, we calculated an hourly rate earned of $33.75. We had a given break-even point of $30 per hour, which left $3.75 per hour profit. Multiplying that times the total hours of 24, we came up with a total profit of $90. Some things we could have done to increase profit, again, centered around controlling the labor cost. Experience is obviously very valuable as it can reduce the learning and research time. Related to that is contracting projects of a similar nature in order to build on your experience. For example, a designer who does only print ads will have much less overhead than one who takes a anything you need approach. Having a niche or specialty will lend a huge hand to profit. Time is money. Time is measured in hours, and in design, these hours can be separated into billable and non-billable hours. First, let's look at billable hours. These are hours that are used directly creating and producing the project for the client. For example, time spent inserting text and images in an Adobe InDesign document would be part of the billable hours. An accurate estimate of these hours is critical to the profitability of the project. Now let's take a look at non-billable hours. These are hours that are used learning about the company or how to do the project. The client obviously can't be expected to pay you to learn to do your job, so these are considered non-billable. These hours can easily be underestimated, especially if you lack experience with the type of project being considered. The combination of billable and non-billable hours are the total labor hours spent on the project. Multiplying this number times your hourly rate gives you the total labor cost for the project. It is this number that you subtract from the client's price to determine your profit made. As you can see in the example, the non-billable hours were nearly as much as the billable hours. Driving the non-billable hours number lower will impact your profit in a positive way. Experience may be the best way to reduce these learning and research hours. Taking classes and attending workshops can also help to reduce these non-billable hours and increase your profit. I would like to share also what I've learned about creating proposals, completing designs, charting hours, and billing clients. First of all, on proposals, before giving a proposal to a client, you should do research on the front end. Find out what's being charged for similar projects and be sure of your pricing before you send it to the client. Completing designs. Less is sometimes more. If the client didn't ask for it, maybe you don't need it. Charting hours. Doing this accurately may be the most important step of the project. Without accurate time estimates and timekeeping, your profitability will rely mostly on luck. And finally, billing clients. Don't be afraid to put value on your time. Unless you are creating a project pro bono for a nonprofit organization, don't be afraid to make a profit. Also keep in mind that your time is money, and what you're working on now is keeping you from working on a more profitable project, so there is a cost to you. Agency or freelance? Which would I choose? Well, before this class, I was leaning more toward freelance. But after what I've learned in this class, I think more toward the agency. I can see the need for the experience that would be gained working at an agency. Also, the financial pressure of being in business for yourself as a freelance artist would be extreme, especially at first with a very small client base. Working at an agency, meanwhile, could allow time to gain experience. You could also gain client contacts. Plus, it would afford you the ability to add works to your portfolio. What were my expectations going into this class? First of all, I thought it would be more traditional classwork, reading, quizzes, and tests. I guess I expected more of the same like from business classes in my past. I had no idea it would be so hands-on and beneficial. Actually producing projects as if working for an agency and as a freelance artist offered a terrific snapshot of the process and where I would need to focus. What were my takeaways from this class? Well, I'd like to share 5 key takeaways. First of all, communication is very critical. Understanding what the client wants and needs is a great first step to any project. While I was working with a partner like an agency project, I found out there are other things to consider. First, you need a contact method, and then you may need to schedule a time to discuss the project. Of course, you're going to need to schedule another time for follow-up. So lots of planning involved. Second, organization. Carefully estimating the billable hours as well as tracking them requires a great deal of effort to be successful. This step cannot be underestimated, however, because of its impact to the project's profit line. Third, productivity. Time is money, and the more time spent on an aspect of a project takes away from time that could be spent on another. Also, working on your skills to gain experience is critical to your success. Fourth, self-discipline. This is especially important from the freelance aspect. You must keep in mind that you are the business and that you have to be open for business to make a profit. And lastly, less is more. Just because you might think it would look great, if it wasn't ordered by the client, you probably shouldn't add it. The time spent could be used on finishing the project quicker or moving on to another. This concludes my presentation. The next slide includes citations for images that were used. Thank you for viewing.